Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and I have an interesting video for you. This is a video that's going to be kind of a late release. This is a video on Alone. This is on season 4, and what I did in this video was I did some of my predictions on the show, and I filmed this before I went on vacation. I just got back from vacation. I had a great time, did a lot of cool, fun stuff. And I had the footage filmed already, but I didn't have time to edit the footage because I was gone. And so there's been several episodes of Alone that have happened, and I just wanted to get these predictions out to you and let you see what my thoughts were. Some of them were pretty accurate. And yeah, so without further ado, here are my thoughts on Alone, season 4. And guess what? It's time for Alone again. Season 4. This is bittersweet for me. It's bitter because I didn't make the cut, but it's sweet because it's Alone time, right? History Channel, they had over 7,500 applicants, and they chose 14 people, split up into 7 teams of 2. This is going to be a lot different than the previous seasons of Alone that we've seen. What my objective is, I'm going to give some of my predictions and some of my personal thoughts on what we might see unfold on this season of Alone. And I've got some opinions, and there's some strong opinions here. And these are just that, they're just opinions. The first opinion that I want to share is I think that this season of Alone is going to be easier in some ways, but much harder in other ways. I think it's going to be easier in the aspect that you have a teammate to help split the chores. You know, one guy could be maintaining the fire while the other one's out fishing. One guy could be building the shelter while the other one's out hunting. Things like that. So I think the distribution of resources as far as getting the work done, I think that's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be a positive thing. I think the fact that they have a team member with them is going to make the Alone thing not as significant. I think it's going to be a little easier, maybe emotionally, maybe mentally, because they at least have somebody there to talk to, which means entertainment, which means, you know, but then on the other side of the spectrum, it could get very interesting because you have one guy that might be slipping and the other guy needs to step up his game to bring his partner up, and that could create a little bit of drama. If you got one guy that's hungry and doesn't want, you know, and he's getting emotional or whatever, that could create some problems. And the way this show has been brought to my attention is that if one person quits, the whole team's out. So you either all make it or you don't make it. So that could be interesting because you could see like maybe an argument happening, or, you know, I don't know, you know, there might be somebody not getting along, and then, well, hell with you, you know, I'm done, and then tap the other guy out, you know. So the team thing is, in my personal opinion, I think that the team thing could be interesting for television. I think it could create a lot of drama, and that's what people want to see apparently. True survivalist, you know, being out on your own, alone, which is what I wanted to do. This season's going to be harder though, because you have, the teams are splitting up the gear. So each person in previous seasons of Alone was allowed 10 items for their self. Well, now you're splitting 10 items between 2 people. So each person's allowed 5 items basically. And they're not allowed to duplicate items, such as both members cannot take a bow, or both members cannot take, you know, 100 feet of paracord or whatever. So that could be difficult. Now the other thing that's going to be difficult in my opinion, and I think this season's going to run a little shorter than previous seasons because of the lack of resources to supplement 2 people. So for example, in a previous season, when a participant might have caught 30 fish, He consumed 30 fish, one person. So he had food. Now, if you have a person catching 30 fish, he has to split it with his buddy. Now they've reduced their input, or intake I should say, down to 15 fish if they split it right down the middle. Now you might see some interesting things happen though. You might see the heavier guy eating less food and giving more food to his partner, or you know, you might see things like that happening. If you've got a partner that's heavier and his other partner's thinner, you might see, you know, stuff like that where they're kind of balancing out each other. So there's a lot of variables that could be very, very interesting about this show, about this season. I'm frustrated that I didn't make the cut. This was a hard cut to make. There's 7,500 applicants and they only choose 14 people. So, but I'm going to keep trying. They're not casting right now for season 5, but who knows? So let me get to my thoughts, okay? I'm kind of rambling here. I want to get directly to my thoughts. I'm going to break it down by the teams, no particular order. I'm going to start with Ted and Jim Baird, the brothers from Toronto, Canada. I think these guys are tough. I think they're solid. I think they've got some good skill and a good chance of winning the show. The downside that I see about them is they're big men, which means a lot of calories. The positive that I see about them is that they're up in the Canadian Peninsula area and they are familiar with the kind of weather, they're kind of familiar with the environment, what kind of wild edibles, things like that. So I think Ted and Jim are going to be strong, but I don't think they're going to be making it all the way. I don't know. Now we're going to talk about the brothers, Shannon and Jesse Bosdale. I think these guys got a strong, you know, the same thing with them. They're growing up in Alaska, you know, hanging out in Alaska and Maine. So they're spending a lot of time in Alaska in the environment, which is just north of Vancouver Island. So they're going to be used to the weather. They're going to be used to the stuff. Shannon, being a commercial fisherman, might be good because he's going to know maybe some tricks to getting fish. Maybe he's going to be able to find some fish. And Jesse, being a former retired military guy, I think he's going to have some mental toughness. So that could be a strong pair right there, Shannon and Jesse. Let's move forward. Let's go to Pete and Sam Brockdorf, father and son. This one has the potential to be a strong pair as well. Pete was a retired shipping driver, so his son Sam is a little bit old, younger, but overweight. Pete's a little older. He's 61. They are from Maryland, so they're not, I don't think, going to be completely equipped to deal with Vancouver Island. Like myself, if I was taken on the show, I'm from Arizona, and here I am going to be in Vancouver Island, right? So I think they're going to have that same kind of, have to kind of get through that learning curve, but I don't think this is going to be a weakness for them. I think they're figure it out, and I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be a very strong team. Let's move forward to Alex and Logan. Rebar, I think I'm saying that right. Father and son. Again, Alex had that military history, and I get the feeling that he's kind of, and I could be wrong, this is just an opinion, this is a first impression that I could be completely butchering, but I think Alex is going to have that, I'm in charge, you know, military, you know, that kind of dominant military kind of presence, that aura about him. And his son Logan, I get the feeling, Logan being young and 19 years of age, I get the feeling that he'll do anything his dad says. And I think that could be something that could stop them, because I think Alex will make some bad decisions, and I think Logan's going to follow him right into failure. And I don't mean any disrespect to them by that. I just think that's what could happen. They're coming from Maine. Again, they're going to have the same kind of thing acclimating to Vancouver like I would have. They're going to have to get used to it, and I think it's going to be difficult for them. I think they're more along this thing as another journey between father and son, and I think they're gonna get out there and say, wow, this is pretty intense out here. Let's move forward to the Blacksmith brothers, Brad and Josh Richardson. First thing I want to say is I think they're going to have incredible knives for the show. I think they're probably putting together some nice blades. They're probably going to have some good tools. But the thing that I'm seeing with them being from Illinois is, again, they're going to have to acclimate to Vancouver Island just like I would. But the biggest thing, the biggest red flag that I see with these guys is they are young. I don't think they have the life experience. I don't know if they have the grit inside yet. I don't think their personalities are completely, truly honed yet as to who they are as human beings. And I think that they're going to go on this incredible journey, and they probably have some great skills, but I think they're going to get to the point where they're going to say, oh crap, this is for real. And I think when they get there, they're done. I don't think they're going to be strong on the show. Let's talk about Brooke and Dave Whipple, husband and wife of 18 years. They're going to be a strong couple, in my opinion, on this show. I think they're going to be good. They're 40 and 45 years of age. They've got life experience. They know what they want. They're from two different locations, going back and forth between Fox, Alaska and Reed City, Michigan. So spending a lot of time in Alaska, living that off-grid lifestyle that Dave was, he's building all these homesteads and stuff. They're used to the elements of what Vancouver Island is going to bring, such as weather and food sources and stuff. I think they're going to be a very strong team. However, I do have a red flag, and that is, unfortunately, in Brooke. She's amazing, but she's thin. And no matter how you look at it, I think it could get tough on her. And not to bring up previous seasons, but if we look at season 3, there was some medical pulls. I just don't know if Dave, maybe this is that sleeper. Maybe Brooks, kind of taking it easy, and Dave's busting his rump out there. I don't know. I think they're going to get along great. Their kids they're not going to be worried about their kids. I think they're going to be strong. They're one of my picks, but I don't think I'm picking them to win. But they're definitely going to be up there, in my opinion. They're going to go quite a ways, I think. Let's talk about Brody and Chris Wilkes. These guys, I think, are going to be strong. They're going to be tough. They're brothers from Louisiana, Mississippi. They're going to be used to the humidity. But getting acclimated to Vancouver, I think, is going to be big for them. But I do believe that they both have some solid skills. I think they're going to do well. So my top 3 picks. Let me just look down this list. I'm going to give you my top 3 picks. Without a doubt, we're going to be looking at, it's hard. I think Brody and Chris are going to be one of the top 3. I think Pete and Sam, the father and son, are going to be the top 3. I think Ted and Jim are going to be in the top 3. I think Shannon and Jesse are going to be fighting a little bit, unfortunately. And I think Alex and Logan are just their father and son. They're enjoying this time of their life, and I just think that they're missing the key that it's going to take to win the show. Brad and Josh are just going to be fighting, and when they find a hard speed bump, they're going to quit, in my opinion. Brooke and Dave, they're solid, but the big question mark is Brooke. She's thin. That's a fact. I'm not knocking on her. I'm just saying Dave lives that lifestyle, though. There's not a lot that's going to bother him. So, yeah, Brody and Chris are going to do well. Ted and Jim, I think their downside is going to be their size. They're going to need them calories unless they can just kind of veg out and take it easy. They're going to need to do that if they're going to want to make it. So those are my thoughts. The ones that I think are going to win the show, I don't know. I could see Pete and Sam doing it, and I can also see Brody and Chris doing it. It's so hard to say. There's so many dynamics. The ones that I'm going to count out completely, and my apology if you're one of these, you know, watching my video here, and I don't mean anything personal. The ones I'll count out are unfortunately Brad and Josh. I just don't think they're going to have the dynamics to take care of it. Alex and Logan, I love them, but I just don't think they're going to have it. Shannon and Jesse, I think they're going to butt heads too much, so that leaves us with Ted and Jim. That leaves us with Pete and Sam. Brooke and Dave, which I think Brooke's going to be the weakness there. I'm going to have to pull them back out and put Brody and Chris in. Brody and Chris are going to make it, I think. So Brody and Chris, Pete, Sam, and Ted and Jim. Those are my picks, the top 3 of Season 4 of Alone. So I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video. I hope you got some good, useful information. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Positive comments, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for episode 1. I will be doing commentary, and I'm still in the running for season 5 of Alone. I'm trying. I'm really trying. And if they want that team thing, I've got several people that I've got in mind that I could use as teammate. So they're not family, but hopefully they'll lift that family thing and let you just take someone. So my daughter's too young, otherwise I'd consider taking her. But again, thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. God bless.